It's been around 6 months that I don't actually code a lot. Manually, we had to gather all that data. It took us most of our Mondays as a business owner and as a software developer, which was very stressful for my side. Using SureThing, it was pretty straightforward. And I was very shocked about it till it became me. I'm Mario. It gathers the data from Sentry, creates the Jira tickets for me. It helps me with my social account. All the administrative stuff, it's being handled by AIs now. Having agents do things for yourself, it literally takes the stress away. It feels like an extension. In the very near future, you will be able to be like Iron Man talking to Jarvis.
Very happy to have you here, especially for your time. I know you are a business owner. So firstly, maybe you introduce a little bit about yourself, especially your story, your background. I think what you do is amazing.
Yes, thank you, Celine, for the time. And yeah, well, actually, I am a business owner. We've been in business almost 5 years. We focus on mobile development, and we are currently handling 4 clients. And we specifically focus on Microsoft technologies. So we build mobile apps for Android, iOS, Windows, and macOS.
Do you want to share your company name so that whoever look at this video, they can find your website or understand your services more?
Yes, of course. My company name is Lemon Labs, and we are based in Mexico, and we are a staffing agency, specifically in .NET MAUI.
Great. And so I see from your story shared, you have tested a lot of tools, not only coding, but also automation, and especially AI. And I can see from your story that you have very strong experience as well as enthusiasm on trying the frontier technology, especially on the AI side. Can you tell the audience a little bit about your on the AI?
Yeah, basically, around 6 months ago, we we've been investigating tools to be more efficient. Basically, Microsoft has pushed a little bit on that side using AI, using Copilot mostly. So or personally, I use VS Code a lot, and we prefer to shift a little bit on that side because other tools such as Writer. I mean, here is a very important thing to notice because as a mobile development, a cross-platform mobile developer, you will need a Mac OS machine and a Windows machine to build everything specifically for Windows, Mac OS, iOS, and Android. So you will basically need to have both. And Visual Studio, it's only available for Windows machines, so you will have to basically use different tools on Mac OS, such as Writer or VS Code, and there's the main concern, right? So Vercel came in, also anti-gravity and other AI tools. The other one with OpenAI. So every developer is using their own tools, and I'm pushing towards of building something that everyone can enjoy using. And right now we are trying our best to give our most certain comments on specific tools. Right now we are using Claude a lot and the Claude CLI, but personally I use Claude inside VS Code. So with that being said, it's been around 6 months that I don't actually code a lot. I just land my ideas into the plan portion of Copilot, and we build the base architecture of the feature, the bug, or the idea. And then I use the agent to actually implement it. And that's what I've been trying to do my best for my coworkers to do. And it has helped a lot. But on the side, we are also trying different tools such as SureThing. Also, aside from that, we are using CodeRabbit. But every day, I'm currently constantly checking out Twitter. And every day there's a new tool
Mm-hmm.
because we have been very interested in OpenClaw, and we also set up OpenClaw on our Mac machine that we didn't use anymore, a Mac on M2 machine. But it was a little bit difficult to configure. It kind of felt like, okay, what I've seen on Twitter, it's different than what I'm currently seeing, you know, personally. So Using SureThing, it was pretty straightforward. And I was very shocked about it because I literally told it like became me. I'm Mario. I'm a business owner. I have 4 projects. These are the clients' names. These are the implementations that you need to do. And I connected through Jira, Azure, Gmail, Sentry. Specifically, Sentry was very, very useful. Sentry is a tool where we gather logs from our production app.
Mhm.
Since we also do 24/7 support during weekends. I and that's a very important thing to mention because on Monday, each Monday, SureThing reminds me. It gathers the data from Sentry and it gives me like a summary of everything that had happened during the weekend and gave me different options like this is what you can do or this is what you can tell to your business partners of what you should do with each of the errors because the main concern is the transaction, right? Because we're handling money transactions. So there are some transactions that didn't get through the payment gateways and we need to refund them. So we use the logs right now to get that data, and based on that data, we know automatically now, instead of investing every Monday morning to gather that information, SureThing does that for us now, or for me especially, because um, I'm still one of the things that I was concerned about OpenClaw is the security. When I saw SureThing, it all came together, right? Because it handles the security for you. So and it's also the context. I really love the context. Like if you tell it like just change gears. Now we are working for this client and it understands and it follows the context and it yeah and I have also used it for my LinkedIn account and I'm pretty sure it can create for me some posts because as a business owner and as a father, I just really work and do family business. And I don't have time anymore to scale my business. So right now, even SureThing is also is trying to get or gather ideas to post for you. And also you can connect it to your LinkedIn. And I'm about this close to generate content on my LinkedIn again using SureThing. So yeah, it has been like a game changer for me at least.
Yeah, you can definitely try linking because my SureThing is currently handling my linking as well. And you also have a quite a long time dev experience, especially as a mobile developer. And I see in your story that you have tested 24 coding agents and IDEs, which is huge. So it's a little bit surprised for me that even talents like you also find a lot of trouble to setting up open cloud because on social media, what I see is just like one click set up open cloud and everyone can do it. Ultimate guide, those kind of contents all over the places, especially during the open cloud hype. As a true experience of the whole setup journey, can you really share your experience to the audience? What actually have you done?
Yeah, actually, for me, the thing is, I was using an old Mac machine. It is a pretty old Mac. It is from 2016. And that's where the problem begins, right? Because one thing is setting up OpenClaw, and the other thing is that it needs Node.js, but it needs the Node.js new versions or newest versions. So you have to silo things, or you have to use other tools aside from npm. Um, but I was actually able to install the latest version of Node, and but that's just the very first layer, right? Because the agents itself, such as connecting your Google Calendar or using the latest agents for OpenClaw, needs the latest versions of Node.js. And also there's it is a downside, like you can't install the agents because you need specific versions of Node.js or other tools such as the ones that the agents are using. Python. That's the main concern. But if you're using a new Mac, like we were using an M2, it was pretty easy to hook it up. But still, there's a portion like it is not as easy as SureThing. Like you get the token and that's it. Yeah, and if you don't have for instance, Sentry wasn't connecting me correctly using the tool SureThing uses, but I was able to get an API token and SureThing stores it, and that's that's working for me at least. And I give the each token the rights it deserves. I am not concerned about it, like creating things on my Sentry account. That's one of the things that I was very concerned. And with OpenCloud, I've seen a lot of busts out there, like hey, there's a new virus, or hey, there's a new agent that is stealing your data, or you need to be very cautious of using your Wi-Fi connection, or don't even connect personal things to your OpenCloud because yeah, that's the real concern. And we actually set it up, but with new accounts, new Mac OS accounts, new Gmail accounts, and also we have set up guest Wi-Fi so it can actually avoid looking at which devices are connected to the Wi-Fi. But we are also very interested in how can SureThing help other clients for us because we have the idea of creating like an agent for the local businesses to start businesses to start using AI, such as content creation, support, or even a restaurant or a barber shop to handle their own calendars. That will be very, very interested for them, but we are actually building a product for that, and we believe that SureThing can help us, uh, get those ideas settled down and even explore the possibility of using SureThing for each client or
Mm-hmm.
multiple accounts for one account in SureThing. That will be very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Back to the Sentry use case. What I understand is a little bit like tech operations work, right? Like you handle your tech report every week and report back to your client. So I don't know, before you use SureThing, like who or what AI were like yourself is handling that by hand, or like what's the old solution on that task?
Yes, that's very interesting because it was manual work. Mhm. So the client came to the support team with a concern like these transactions didn't came through and the reports do not match the weekend event. So we need to verify why we have $100 less. And we have to look for those transactions on Sentry using Sentry logs to verify what was going on and which transactions didn't get through. So we are using an SDK for handling our payments, but at the end, it ends up in the payment gateways such as WorldPay or Pfizer, and manually, we had to gather all that data and look for if it was paid or not paid. And looking at the logs, linking it through a new bug or a bug that it was already working in during the sprint. So it took us around most of the or Mondays to gather that data and fix the support ticket to match the reports. So nowadays, when my boss came to me, I have all that data for him, and there you go. You have all the 5 transactions that do not match. I can even send him an email. He doesn't have to message me anymore. So at least for me, it is an automated process that I don't have to handle my time and myself. Every week, it is gathering data and it is matching the current bugs that are open during the sprint, and it gives you insights of this transaction could be related to this bug which is currently in progress. And for your report, you should verify that the end solution will be released on the next version, which is going to be released this month. Does that make
Got
sense?
it. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Me personally, I'm a more like a product guy. I use PostHog as a kind of data analytics tool. So I sync my sourcing to PostHub so that I can pull off, for example, like user acquisition, user retention, and all those stuff by myself. Previously, I need to hire a data analyst to build the data thing, and then you need to kind of make sure everything shows up correctly. But now I just tell SureThing, and this data doesn't look right. Can you double check it? And then it will kind of check it, and then to rethink, find the problem, and then fix the dashboard. So yeah, it's a little bit like your scenario. And just curious, besides that Sentry use case, do you have any other developer relevant use case that you can share to the audience? Also share to my engineering team so that SureThing's engineering team can also kind of learn skills from you.
Yeah. It has helped me to relieve myself from stress. Like as a as a business owner and as a software developer, there's a lot of things you need to handle. It is not just coding. Coding is just one portion, but you need to be certain of what's during the sprint. You need to be aware of what's on the board. As a senior developer, one of my roles is to create my own stories and bugs during my sprint, and also creating documentation, also versioning my app, and all these administrative tasks are now being handled by SureThing.
Mhm.
So I can literally send him some screenshots and just a very brief explanation of what I am experiencing as an end user, and it creates the Jira ticket for me.
Mhm.
And that's one thing. Also, another thing is that it gathers your Jira data and auto tags it. It sets the tags and the version number so you can add it to your version. For instance, version 1.0.1 will contain all these bugs and stories, and it will be released, and I can create the release notes for you. And I can focus on what I love, like creating code and solving problems, and all the administrative stuff, which was very stressful for my side. It's being handled by AI now, and that's a huge relief. Yeah, like having agents do things for yourself, it literally takes the stress away. I suppose you are feeling the same because
Mhm.
day to day, it's just a way of bombarding, a lot of things to deal or juggle. I mean, I have felt a little bit of relief of using AI tools to just set aside things that are not as important as solving a problem.
Mhm.
So yeah, it handles the Jira for me. It helps me with my social account. It
Mhm.
helps me with support. It helps me
Mhm.
with communication, which is one of the things that engineers lack of. So since I am also a Spanish speaker, a native Spanish speaker, it also helps me to communicate better. So that's
Mhm.
another plus. So yeah, basically, I think the next phase for this is just going to blow mind.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think the initial design for us is to we have a website, but it's not shown often. We call SureThing an extension of yourself, so that you can put those repetitive things to your extension, and you kind of relieve your pressure on those administrative things to another version of you, so that you can focus on more creative and productive important things. So that's a more high level value proposition, or what we think the AGI should be look like. Yeah, so since you just mentioned it, and you also mentioned that you speak Spanish and you are located in Mexico. So I'm curious because I don't know about Mexico or Latin America a lot. So how do you think about this AI adoption differently in Mexico or in Latam versus the US market? Just want to understand the local market and local tech trend a little bit.
At least for software engineers, they are hooked. Yeah. Um, but that's just the very least portion of the population. We discussed this with a client last week. He still thinks that WhatsApp bots are dumb and it can handle his calendar. And we know for a fact that that's very easy to do right now. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we have gathered locally. Like at least software engineers are very hooked with AI, and we felt the pressure of our jobs fading away. But no, it is the other way around. I think that at least 90% of the people locally do not use AI, and they don't tend to be using it in the very near future. So I think that that's a market opportunity out there, like discuss this with your family and friends. Just engaging with AI is just the next phase of ourselves, like the next phase of our business. Like it's definitely an opportunity.
Yeah. I read a recent post, I think from Cloud Report. In the world, there are still 84% of population haven't used any AI product anytime. So there's still a huge gray area for tech or for AI to penetrate. To the audience of those who have never tried AI, do you have something to say to them?
Don't be afraid of it, but I think we need to make it easy for them to use it.
Mhm, mhm,
As I imagine SureThing could be, is like I could have my Apple Watch or my phone talking to a Telegram bot and just like OpenCloud does. Like I have my SureThing session always open, and that could help me when I'm driving, when I'm not at the computer. Yeah, that will definitely feel that the AI is there for you always,
mhm.
24/7.
Yeah, great. And another thing that you mentioned, which is also by design, is our memory mechanism. So we actually have a totally different memory mechanism than any other similar products or open cloud or anything. We call it procedure memory. It kind of mimic the brain cells so that not only Chelsea remembers the factual thing, like who you are, what's your job, but also as a human, like when you do a task last time, what difficulties that you have overcome, what success you have overcome, it's like when you learn how to cycle or how to ride a bike, you may fail for a couple of times and then your brain remembers in what circumstances you will fall. And it will kind of um carved into your brain so that every time you feel that you will be balanced. So we have some kind of memory mechanism mimicking that a brain mechanism as well. That's why that the memory is a little bit different from all the AI tools you have experienced. So from a user perspective, can you tell a little bit in your own use cases, like how you feel that part? Since you already mentioned it earlier, but can you deep dive a little bit on that?
Yeah, of course. I think it is a very powerful tool just to mention that, hey, let's switch gears. Let's focus on this project now. And it goes, it's like a tree. In computer science, in, um, we have a code called tree. And I believe it could lean into that. Like it has its own branch of data where it gathers any information you have shared to it. And based on that, I think that at least for me, it has worked very well because you just need to focus on this and follow that path. And if you need to change anything, you just tell it. And also you can also set up reminders like the one that I set up for Sentry. And also it has helped me to gather new clients. Like, hey, I want an alert that you need to search using Google or whatever and help me gather some leads. Um, every Wednesday we have a small report doing that. Deep diving into the data, I have also want to mention that I have asked him who I am, if it can share my own context, and that was that was a very relief. Like at least I know SureThing can export the data. So it knows about me, it knows about my context, it even knows um, then my client's names, and I can gather that data and use it anywhere else. That was a very huge relief. And it felt like an extension, like you said, Shelly, like it is Mario's extension. So you can focus on more important things on your day to day.
Got it. And yeah, some of our interviewees uh gave their own SureThing a nickname. I don't know whether you have that habit or not, or you just call it SureThing or even Mario. What's your habit here?
I usually believe that it is just like a she. It can be, I always refer it as a she, like, don't do this. And there was a very specific thing that I remember right now that one of my coworkers is from Argentina. I pasted a message with Argentinian slang, and it started to use Argentinian slang because it is believed that I was from Argentina. And I told him, don't use Argentinian slang, please use a Spanish, like a normal Spanish accent. That was it. I didn't have to tell anything else. And it started to speak Spanish, like a default one, not using Argentinian. That was very interesting to mention. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And since you mentioned that, I actually have a closure part, which is you can speak in your native language, I think it's Spanish, to your SureThing. Starting with their SureThing in Spanish, and then whatever you want to speak to your AI, like right now, like as a record. So please begin.
Yeah. I mean, I am not sure if you are asking this, but I specifically told it like I speak Spanish and I speak English, and if I speak you in Spanish and I want you to reply in English, please do so. And that was a very relief because using ChatGPT or Gemini, it didn't feel like that. Like it gathers your language, but it kind of sometimes misses it. Like if you're speaking in Spanish, but you wanted to respond in English, but you missed that in the prompt, it gives you the Spanish response. And I haven't felt that with SureThing, and it kind of feels like it is reading your mind.
Okay. I I think it's the result of our precision memory design, so that it remembers last time when Mario talks about that thing, he wants me to speak in English, so I will draft it in English. But this time it's Mario talking to his family, then we can do it in Spanish. So I'm guessing it's that way, but we can make it as a more emotional or philosophy interpretation. It's just the extension of you, a digital extension of you, so it will learn from you as well.
Yes, it is feeling like that.
Great, great. Yeah. So anything you want to speak to your thing in your own words now?
Yeah, as I mentioned to you, it feels like um, in the very near future, you will be able to be like Iron Man talking to Jarvis. Mhm. I imagine using these things in the future and just talking to an AI and doing things. Um, even not being present in front of a computer.
Yeah, because we will kind of make a final video because we have SureThing users from all over the world, from Europe, from Latin America, from Middle East, from Japan, from China. So we are gathering in all those native languages, like anything the users want to speak to SureThing. So I would like to you as a Spanish speaking user to use your own native language to speak one sentence that you want to say to SureThing, like to an AI. So I'm gonna recording that, and we will edit it as a letter to SureThing from users all over the world as a souvenir to our AI.
Of course, creo que SureThing va a cambiar la vida.
Great.
That's it.
Okay, I will use translator to understand later. Okay, yeah.
It translates to, I think that SureThing will change your life.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's all my script and plan today. Yeah, thank you very much, Mario, for your time. Your input is very valuable. I also noted one feature you mentioned, kind of tenant thing that you want to kind of try to make products for your clients. I will also bring that back to the team to discuss that as well.
Thank you, Celine. Thank you for your
Okay,
time.
thank
And
you.
I am sorry. Before we close this meeting, I'm about to my time in SureThing. It's about to end, maybe. But I
Mhm.
want to know about the pricing. So yeah, if you have that information, that will be very useful for me.
Yeah. I will send you an email. We have we have it on our website, so I can just provide you a link. Thank you very much. So bye bye. Bye.